In 2012, the EU put a ban on battery cages for laying hens because of animal welfare reasons. In the Netherlands, this co-occurred with a shift from battery cages to floor housing, in which laying hens could freely move around and perform more natural behavior, such as dust bathing. This led to increased circulation of dust inside housing systems, but also to increased emissions to the outdoor world, thereby causing human health effects. This is a shift from an animal welfare problem to a human health problem, and illustrates the risk of a too narrow approach focusing on one problem but neglecting potential side effects. Indeed, more integrated interdisciplinary approaches are deemed useful for addressing complex societal problems, and this has been recognized for decades. Still, actual implementation of such approaches remains cumbersome and can benefit from lessons on knowledge integration. We draw such lessons from our research on the effects of livestock production on human health and the environment. This concerns, for example, greenhouse gas emissions, water use, effects of pesticide application, but also health effects related to particulate matter emissions, infectious diseases, and antimicrobial resistance. In studying all these different impact categories, we encountered various differences in traditions across disciplines, and we learned that it's worthwhile to invest in listening and learning about these differences. In the end, we managed to bring together 17 different impact categories related to Dutch livestock production. The next step could be to prioritize these differences, but this would require to know how these impact categories compare. For example, to know how human health impacts are valued compared to ecosystem impacts. You can also see our assessment as a baseline. But for assessing trade-offs and synergies, such assessment of one point in time is not enough. And this would require assessing changes, for example in the form of broad scenarios of future livestock production or of specific changes in housing systems of laying hens, for example. By studying such changes, you can learn what would improve and what would deteriorate, and thereby assessing the trade-offs and synergies. It is a solution-focused approach, taking scenarios, potential solutions or changes as the starting point of the analysis. Key ingredients for interdisciplinary cooperation in identifying trade-offs and synergies are thus being aware of differences, communicating about them, and adopt a solution-focused approach.